Good morning. So, let's think about existence. So, um, where should I start? Oh boy. I guess I should start where I've been. I started my thought process on this, which was when I heard the term snowflake. When I heard the term snowflake, and I thought it's a word design, kind of like meant to define kind of almost a generation of people, but a generation of people that were somewhat designed by the society that they grew up in at the time. Um, that everybody is important in their own way, that the individual can be something amazing, they can be self created, they can be, kind of the heightened, like America on crack, so to speak. But, excuse me. But if you take that idea, that kind of like society in a way generates indirectly who we are, um, and then also shuns us for being that at the same time. Uh, that seems contradictory. But then I came to the conclusion that life is basically both a blessing and a curse. Like you suffer, there's pain, but you get to experience all these beautiful things, all these things that you wouldn't be able to experience unless you were alive. I mean, you wouldn't even know. So, um, uh, then I came to I went forward in thought and to kind of like think about how to explain our existence in a way. Is if you think about, sorry, if you think about how evolution works, and you look back uh, to the beginning of our planet. I mean, like it's still a blip in the time of the universe. So many possibilities still out there. But if you took how evolution works and basically living creatures manipulated and designed through nature, um, in order to survive in a certain way or be used as tools, like certain fauna, uh, you know, creates natural barriers or is a natural food source for a certain creature, or can't be isn't like non-edible to another. Yeah, such as we were created by nature in a way. I mean, like somewhat self-designed, somewhat nature designed. Like a little bit of both, and that's why there's always that duality of existence. Um, it's because like we have nature's purpose, and then we have our own purpose. Uh, Whereas I believe that nature's purpose was to design sentient creatures that could uh, basically uh, save itself from the disasters of the universe, so to speak. If you think back, this planet has undergone so many changes due to catastrophic issues, and knowing that it's become sick so many times, the only way to for life to like you know continue its hold, um, is to be able to do so beyond this planet, and that's where I feel that we come in, or at least a stepping stone. A lot of people would say artificial intelligence is the real thing that will project itself, but at the same time, it's debatable whether that's considerable as a biological entity, because are we creating it? Does it stop functioning as a biological entity? Did we in part design it through nature, the nature of ourselves, uh, in order to continue the expansion, so to speak. Um, but anyways, back to us. uh, I feel that we are somewhat of a design. So, like, people that believe in a god or many gods, uh, you're all kind of right in a way. It's just, and it's not about being right or wrong, really. It's more about um, feeling an understanding of who you are, uh, and what you believe life is. Um, Whereas, like, there's going to be always that one thing that doesn't care what you believe. It's going to exist in its own format. And I believe that essentially is nature itself. Like, the nature of things, the chaos, the serenity, the duality, will always be there, always is there, has been, since the beginning. The thing that pushes, the thing that pulls, and the space that binds them together. It's just, I've always felt like a strong connection with that. Um, my God, if I knew math, I'd probably be like doing the same crazy shit Einstein was, because look, I'd be trying to uh, logic my way through explaining relativity. So, but which is both impossible and possible, because like you can do it almost as a faith in a way that everything is in relation to another thing, but there's so many factors that we can't see. So, and that's something that I think even Einstein at some point noticed. Like, that there are things that we can't see, but um, the main purpose of this was to kind of explain that the nature of humanity and the nature of nature itself essentially are one thing. Like, we are a part of it. At the same time, it giving birth to us as a sentient species, um, kind of like made us our own bane to our own life. Like, our purposes, we feel, need to be individualized, when there is definitely a greater purpose of all things. Uh, we need to survive to perceive more, to see more, to continue observing the universe, essentially. And the best way to do that is evolving. Like, so what's stopping us from doing that? Not necessarily like evolving as a species, but like evolving like logically, like in our minds. What's holding us back? Is it the constraints of, like, wants and needs? Like, we keep thinking about those as like something separate from the nature of ourselves, which is, it's part of us. Like our wants and needs are part of us. We don't accept enough about ourselves. um, which is, it's sad, but it's also part of why there's anything different, really. Um, Otherwise, I don't know. I feel like we need to learn to be more connected, and I think that that's like technology is a step in that direction to connect each other, so that we have less chance of because I feel like religion was a step to connect us. Like we wanted to all feel the same and think the same in a way, so that we weren't there was less unknown than there's all this unknown in the universe, and just in our general surroundings there's so much unknown. There's like, what's on the other side of the chair in front of me, because I can't see it, so that's unknown. And then we didn't want that to be inside each other's heads, so we wanted maybe like a connected theory uh, of life, and that's what I feel like religion was doing. Uh, was giving us a connected theory of life, but I believe that even that had its obvious follies, and didn't fully like awaken our purpose in a way, like didn't fully join us. I feel like it was exploited in a lot of ways. It was, I mean, it was a beautiful idea, a beautiful concept. Sorry if I'm speaking in past tense, like that I am speaking in past tense, but it's like in my mind, I know that the nature of things is a lot more. There's just general unknown, and like we need to accept that, and like hope for the better, which is, there's nothing wrong with hope. Like hope is life. Life is hope. Like being able to perceive until the end of time, so to speak, or even beyond that. Like nothing more beautiful than that. Helping each other survive uh, in the best way possible, even knowing that we have to take steps back, uh, or that we have to make sacrifices. It's going to be necessary. We're going to have to make more and more sacrifices as we, as a whole, don't move forward in the most efficient manner, so to speak, because the lack of efficiency always proves to um, take from you uh, by not trying to stay in that Taoist middle. Uh, you're always going to run into that loss. Because if you like, things could be so good, you know, but that leaves a blind side. Leaves a wide open, non-defendable area where bad can get in, and it just goes back in the opposite direction. That's why you always need that middle area, that point that isn't too hard. Like say more people believed in the theory of human evolution uh, needs to go to the stars. That we like need to focus on that now. Like we need to get out there and start colonizing, start living out there. But at the same time, if we push too hard on that, there's definitely going to be a lot of loss. So that's part of what I mean by when you go too far in one direction, it's always going to recoil in some way. This is my geology teacher. Always used to talk about what the heck was it? Was it a rebound effect, basically? Like you put all that ice on a landmass, and then when that ice starts to melt, the landmass grows, and even if the landmass was concave before, it can become a mountain after when the ice melts, because like there's this ice and on the concave land, and then it melts and the land raises. It's called elastic rebound, but that's applied to everything in nature in a way, because you apply a certain amount of pressure to push something back, and then when that pressure comes back, or when there's no way to keep pushing, it's going to come back, and it's going to come back with a lot more force than it had originally. And that's why, like, you see all those like in places that in the north that were frozen or whatever, and then like when it thawed, um, opened up. But then you also have all those cracks like you get on in potholes. You just, man, I trailed on, but the idea is that we we should reflect more on our general purpose, like as a species, um, and try to relay that to the next generation or the next whatever. But yeah, just a lot of thoughts in this little noggin of mine. I know I spend too much time on those, but yeah. Bye.